Hello viewers, it is your favorite spoiler from the recap room. For more updates, stay tuned and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you. The Last Frontier returns with a startling cliffhanger that demonstrates just how close Sidney and Havlock are to one another. It's obvious that they had a long history together, and it's yet unclear how they got married and ended up at each other's throats. But we also know that Frank has a significant secret that seems to be connected to this firearm that was discovered within the book. However, we are currently unsure exactly how that fits into the overall plot. It gave us that Lost World scene where he was dangling off the cliff, but I'm still not clear why no one really shot him or at least shot the tires when he was surrounded. Caleb is discovered by a group of fishermen in the snow at the start of The Last Frontier's third episode. This is the same child who ran away from the prisoners in the previous chapter. Frank, meantime, discovers Sarah's car keys inside the cooler. Frank musters the men and attempts to get ahead of this guy and find him in the wild, with Havlock close by. They have a little window to try to capture him, but it won't be simple because there aren't even 8 hours of daylight to deal with. Hayes, the officer, arrives at the cabin to see how Luke and Kira are doing. He gets into problems even though they aren't there. The prisoner approaches from behind and renders Hayes unconscious. Luke and Kira, who are both sleeping upstairs, are roused by the altercation. They actually have a direct conversation when Luke finds the man downstairs, and Luke discloses that his father is a marshal. Being a little more astute, Kira discovers Hayes' car outside and later the documents verifying that the man in their cabin is an inmate. Luke and Kira try to come up with an escape strategy after Kira informs him what she has discovered. Sadly, it fails, and they are compelled to give up while being held at gunpoint. Frank discovers Sarah's abandoned automobile back in the bush. Hutch and his friends are the extra forces that Frank summons when he is furious. Although they are unable to locate Havlock, they are able to locate several other prisoners, so that's one thing. Caleb, the small child, is taken back to camp and Frank catches up with him. He is only 8 years old and originally from New York. He becomes aware of the gravity of the situation after learning about the prisoners who have abducted his father. It is painful to hear the child's tale, and Caleb also identifies the prisoners on the wall as the ones who have abducted his father. Additionally, he makes reference to a river, which provides some indication of where they should search. It's interesting to see that Havlock encounters those identical prisoners nearby. No one knows he's the prisoner on the plane, so he says he's camping. Unaware of the danger he presents, the prisoners take him with them. Regretfully, the prisoners discover a transport operated by Alyeska Arctic Adventures in the middle of nowhere. Like a frozen safari, it appears like they are in the general region exploring local fauna. In fact, they were also halfway through a 6-day Arctic Circle tour. Our people learn about the hostage situation and evaluate it. From the large man, Argento Volpe, to his aide, Edward Porter, and another violent man named Spencer Todd Covington, the detainees are now a motley crew of terrible people. Sam Barker, the boy's father, is also present. In the midst of all, Frank finds Sarah and retrieves her. When Sidney arrives and tries to speak with her, Frank shuffles her out of the room right away. Frank is at least a little more relaxed now that she's back. However, they still need to attempt to handle the Luke situation. Taking the lead in the inmate charge is Spencer Covington, who quickly turns his focus to Havlock. The man is casually using his laptop when he becomes aware that Havlock is special due to radio chatter and increased activity in the area. He immediately defeats the 4 men and seizes control of the rig, demonstrating his abilities. They successfully encircle Havlock thanks to the strategy, but he chooses to drive down the cliff face while still connected to the chopper. He and Frank get into a fight and end up racing to the brink of the cliff, where they are hanging for their lives. Until Havlock reenacts the scenario from the Lost World and needs to maneuver through the glass, it's touch and go. Sidney eventually overtakes him, but she is hesitant to shoot him. Rather, he escapes by kicking the glass in. As we quickly learn, the reason is because she and Havlock had a love relationship in the past, and he used her as leverage to achieve his goals. When Frank quickly discovers this, he turns to Sidney for assistance. Sidney warns that Havlock will turn his family against him and that things will get tough. The reason she finds this so challenging. Actually, Havlock is her spouse. Thanks for watching, stay tuned for more updates.